BismillahirRahmanirRahim. Is it possible for our tafakkur to put us into ghaflat? And how can we make a proper tafakkur?
Yes, BismillahirRahmanirRahim. I mean, I don't like to answer this kind of almost philosophical questions. Tafakkur is to make you to become more awake. Can you make tafakkur and makes you to become more sleep? Yes, of course it can. Water is supposed to hydrate you and keep you alive. Can water kill you? Yes, it can. Right? So anything that is positive, if you use it negatively, it will become negative. So it's not about tafakkur, it's not about water, it's not about the knife. The knife that can save your life, you can use it to kill you. So again, it's about Hazrati Insan and how he uses it. In which ways can tafakkur make you to become more in ghaflat? When it's not time for tafakkur, when it's time to work, when it is time to move, when it's time, that's the time you start thinking. We're looking at some people, it's good in making salawats, but we're looking, when they do work and they make salawats, the work suffers. There are people who are like that. At that time, what is more important now? The work or the salawats? If it is the work that is more important, do that work. Because in doing that work properly, remembering the Prophet ﷺ saying you must do everything properly and well, that is one form of salawat. You're doing work now. You say, oh, I must do this to please Allah. I must do this to please the Prophet. I must do this to please my Shaykh. You're doing that work. You don't have Allahumma salli ala sayyidina. You don't have to do that if it makes you to become ghaflat, if it makes you to suffer in your work. If it doesn't, go ahead, knock yourself out. I don't care. But I'm looking, some people, mashallah, now is the time for working, now is the time they want to make zikr. Instead of moving fast, it's Allahumma salli ala sayyidina. What happened? I don't see you when everyone is sleeping in one corner making salawats until Fajr. Now, in front of people, suddenly you're making so much. So now, tafakkur, can it make you to become more in ghaflat? Yes, when you're not using tafakkur properly. When it is not the time for tafakkur. When you're not making tafakkur the way that you should be making also. It is not, tafakkur is not just to count, oh, how bad I am. To recount, oh, I'm so bad, I'm the worst one, and then to think that you, no, it's not. It's to understand where you've gone wrong and to become better, to take steps to become better. We are not Catholics. There is no points given to you. You take a whip and you start hitting yourself and say, my fault, my fault. No. You want to do that nighttime. No, not whipping yourself. Go to sajda. When everything is finished in the world and the world is as if it's dead, but you are alive and you're worshipping to your Lord and you say, forgive me. That time, yes. But that is the time for tafakkur. Don't try to do that when you're supposed to cook. Don't try to do that when you're supposed to feed. Don't try to do that when you're supposed to do your work, when you're supposed to do construction, anything you're supposed to do. That's not the time. Don't be selfish. That is, you're letting your ego now to overtake it too. It's not the time to cry. Don't cry. Maybe it's very sad, you're thinking about something. But in that situation, so many people cry also, all the fake ones crying. You do the opposite. You understand? Fight against that. You are original, you're not a cliche. Don't be cliche. So, then when it's time to act, you act. Inshallah. Do the tafakkur properly also. We will speak more about that, but if you listen to the sohbats, whatever that is in the sohbats, if you sit down, tell them to keep it down. Whatever you listen to sohbat, nighttime you're sitting and you're thinking, oh, the sohbat is saying this, I think this is right, I think I can take that. That's good. That is the time. You're working in the day, okay, you're working, you know you're working, it's non-thinking, you're doing something. That time you may think that is also tafakkur, it's okay. But once it interrupts into your responsibilities, then stop that. The whole form of tafakkur, the whole reason for tafakkur is so that you can do your activities really straight and clean and fast for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He's pleased with what you're doing. So, observe. Observation is also tafakkur. Observe. You're doing something, this one is doing something like that, interesting. This one is doing like that, that's interesting. Try to understand, what is the reason for that in that person's mind, head, heart? What is the reason? People do everything with a reason. There's nothing that we do that is empty. There's always a reason. You sit, there's a reason for that. You sit like that, there's a reason for that. You breathe like that, there's a reason. You use those words, you have that look, there's a reason. Now you want to understand, reflect. Then take lesson. Wa min Allahu tawfiq al-Fatiha. Amen. Assalamu alaikum. Mashka. Anything else? Good. This much is enough, inshallah. Keep your faith. Like I said before, Shawwal comes with its own challenges always. Rise up to the occasion. You harvest it. Right? Once upon a time, there was a call to war. Prophet ﷺ says, we have to go. There was some, sizable, that is saying, we just harvested. Let's enjoy it a little bit. He says, no, we have to go fight. But we spend so much time and energy harvesting. Let us enjoy. Traditionally, we enjoy. We take a couple of days off. You want your Ramadan to continue? Keep fighting, inshallah.